There once was a town high in the mountains that straddled the banks of a beautiful stream. The stream was fed by springs that were old as the earth and deep as the sea. The water was clear like crystal. Children laughed and played beside it. Swans and ducks swam on it. You could see the rocks and the sand because the water was so fresh. High in the hills, far beyond anyone's sight, lived a man who served as the keeper of the springs. He had been hired a long time ago, and no one could remember a time when he wasn't there. He would travel from one spring to another in the hills, removing branches or fallen leaves or debris that might pollute the water. But his work was unseen. One year, the town council decided they had better things to do with their money. No one supervised the man anyway. They had roads to repair and taxes to collect and services to offer, and giving money to an unseen stream cleaner had become a luxury they could no longer afford. So the old man left his post. High in the mountains, the springs went untended. Twigs and branches and worse muddied the liquid flow. Mud and silt compacted the creek bed. Farm wastes turned parts of the stream into stagnant bogs. For a time, no one in the village noticed. But after a while, the water was not the same. It began to look brackish. The swans flew away to live elsewhere. The water no longer had a crisp scent that drew children to play by it. Some people in the town began to grow ill. All noticed the loss of sparkling beauty that used to flow between the banks of the streams that fed the town. The life of the village depended on the stream, and the life of the stream depended on the keeper. The city council reconvened, the money was found, the man was rehired. After yet another time, the springs were cleaned, the stream was pure, children played again on its banks, illness was replaced by health, the swans came home, and the village came back to life. The life of a village depended on the health of the stream. The stream is the soul, and you are the keeper.
Hey everybody, I hope you really enjoyed that video. He's showing a lot of different videos throughout this course, but that one really I think is a good depiction of how you and I are told to keep watch over our souls, and no one's going to do it for us. These are the things that take place when no one's watching, just the same way with the illustration in the video. Nobody was watching the man, nobody was making sure he was doing his job, and it's the same with you and I. No one's gonna make sure that we pray, that we keep our disciplines. That's something that you and I have to do on our own. And the fact that you're taking the time to really take this course shows yourself that you're really, really interested in taking care of your soul. And that's really what this whole course is all about. We're not gonna get deep into a lot of different things. I really think that you're gonna get a lot out of the reading that you're doing. This book is filled with so much wisdom and really practical at the same time. So I'm just gonna give you a few things on discipline, the discipline of prayer and meditation. When I start with meditation, I do want to share this scripture real quick. It's the Living Bible version, and it's Hebrews 13:17. It says, "Obey your spiritual leaders and be willing to do what they say, for their work is to watch over your souls." Now, if you're a leader taking this course, which every single one of us are, you're either leading yourself, leading your family, leading a ministry, we're called to watch over souls. And we can't do that if we're not watching over ours. So again, by you taking the time to really dig into this course, it's showing you that you're really making the time, taking the effort to become spiritually healthy. A lot of times we don't even know whether we're healthy or unhealthy, just because we haven't taken the time to do a diagnostic of our own self. And so that's what we really want to do throughout each week. You're going to get a lot of the reading. Even this week, just the big ideas that you should walk away with from the book on meditation is this idea about hearing and obeying, which is the ultimate goal of meditation. You're going to realize the purpose of meditation. Some of you might not even understand what meditation is, because it's more than just thinking. And maybe you're not practicing this in your life right now, but it's going to take your spiritual walk to a whole nother level. You're going to understand misconceptions, which is good, because a lot of times when we think about meditation, maybe we're thinking about other religions and their view of meditation. You're going to understand that above all, it's a desire to hear God's voice. We're going to talk about, you're going to learn about sanctifying the imagination. Imagination is a really good thing, but it must be under God's control. Another thing you're going to walk away with in this chapter is learning how to prepare to meditate. One of the good things I love about this book is it gives the practicalities of each discipline. The Bible doesn't really go into the details on the how-tos, which is something we learned last week. There's some things that are written in the Bible that they didn't have to talk about. They didn't have to talk about, how to pray, or how to fast, or how to prepare for a 40-day fast. Those are kind of things that were part of the culture. So they didn't have to be explained. They just had to be mentioned on, really they were focusing more on the inner when it came to the New Testament more than the outer, because everybody knew the religious duties, but a lot of times it was lacking on the inside. Also, you're going to learn the different forms of meditation. So I'm not really going to get into that in this teaching. I kind of want to give you a few other things on the importance of meditating. Now, there's a lot of books. We're reading Celebration Discipline together, but this is a great book for anyone that wants to, slow down a little bit. That's what I'm going to talk about right now, slow down. So this is Crazy Busy. Really, really good book. And I have this other book right here called The Life You've Always Wanted by John Ortberg. Maybe you can't really read it backwards. But really good books, and there's other books too. So You Want to Be Like Christ by Chuck Swindoll. Many, many good books out there. And as you're reading the book of Celebration Discipline, he quotes all these other books. So good stuff to fill yourself up with. I just want to talk about the idea that we get from the opening text. It says, in contemporary society, our adversary majors in three things: noise, hurry, and crowds. If he can keep us engaged in muchness and manyness, he will rest satisfied. And I don't know if in your life right now you're in a hurry. Even maybe you might be in a hurry to get through this teaching that you're hearing right now. You're just like, okay, what are the big ideas? What do I need to listen to? Okay, can you just hurry up and give me the answers? One of the things I really want to encourage you is to slow down. Even when you're reading the book, slow down. There's going to be some things maybe you don't understand. Get a definition, get a dictionary, look up the definitions, take time to think. Don't be in such a hurry just to finish your homework before Sunday at 11:59. I'm really hoping that you're taking the time to let this really dig into your heart, into your spirit, into your mind. And so I want to talk about this idea about hurry sickness. And these are the symptoms if you have this sickness. Okay, one is you're constantly speeding up daily activities. Okay, if you're not slowing down and you just think that you could, hurry up through your everyday activities, you need to slow down. There's this hurry sickness inside of you that you're just trying to do more. You're trying to read faster, talk faster. When you're listening, you're nodding faster, which you're trying to encourage someone to talk faster themselves. At a stop sign, if there's two lanes and there's a car in each lane, you're trying to gauge which car you should get behind, which one's gonna pull out quicker, so you can hurry up and swerve your way to wherever you're gonna go. At a grocery store, it could be several lines of different people, and you're trying to add up their items and try to figure out, okay, who's gonna go quicker. You need to slow down. That's a big symptom. Another is multitasking. This idea that we could do more than one thing at a time. There's actually a bigger word for it, but we just use the phrase multitasking in our modern day society. But this is a sickness. The car is a favorite place for people to do this. They'll try to drive, eat, drink coffee, listen to the radio, shave or apply makeup, talking on the phone. You're trying to do a lot at one time. You need to slow down. Or you may try to watch TV and read, eat dinner, carry a conversation all at the same time. You are trying to do too much. You need to slow down. Or maybe number three, there's so much clutter in your life. People who live this life of hurry sickness, they lack simplicity. They don't know how to just say no. They take on too much. These people carry around organizers the size of California. They want to organize their life, but they're so disorganized they don't even know where to start. They're the type of people who carry a bunch of books with them, but then they feel guilty that they're not even reading. They buy time-saving gadgets, but they don't even take the time or have the time and the patience to learn how to even use them correctly. Life is cluttered when we're weighted down by the burden of all the things that we have failed to say no to. You might be trying to take on too much right now. Even maybe this class was you taking on too much. But I'm really praying that through this class, you'll begin to break some bad habits of trying to do too much and trying to be too many things. I know Paul says that, become all things to all men, but he didn't say that, I give all my time to everybody and I leave no time for God. If you want to make an impact, you need to make time to fill yourself up. You need to make time to empty yourself of all the craziness that's around you. Superficiality, the opening sentence, we kind of broke it down a little bit, is Richard Foster says that superficiality is a curse of our age. We're not in need of more intellectual people, more gifted people, but we need deep people. And depth takes time. If you read about Abraham Lincoln, he really didn't have a lot of books to read. He had like 3 books, and one of them was the Bible, and the other 2 books he practically memorized. And even when he was in office, he spent more time thinking than he did reading. And I know we live in a generation now that says, leaders are readers, and I'm all for that. I'm actually reading several books myself right now, and I'm all about, trying to get, more relevant to our generation and whatnot. But we have traded this idea of wisdom with, large amounts of information. And because of that, we lack depth. And so a lot of times we need to just slow down, push aside everything else that's trying to clutter our life and focus on what really matters the most. Another symptom is an inability to love. Love takes time, and hurried people just don't make the time to love people. And if you get to this stage, then you're really in danger of this next one, which is called sunset fatigue. And I thought this was really, really cool, because a lot of us can do this at times. Even myself, I've been guilty of this at times too. Lewis Grant, he's actually the one who kind of tagged this phrase, but he says that when we come home at the end of the day, those who need our love the most, those to whom that we are most committed, they end up getting our leftovers. Sunset fatigue is when we're just too tired, too drained, or too preoccupied to love the people to whom we have made the deepest promises. And when sunset fatigue has set in, it sets in when you find yourself rushing even when there's no reason to. There's an underlying tension that causes sharp words or unnecessary fights. Another thing could be that you set up mock races. If you're a parent, you could be like, okay kids, let's see who can take a bath faster, and really you're just trying to get through it, and it was more for your benefit really rather than their benefit. You see a loss of gratitude and wonder, kind of just trying to get through things. You don't even enjoy the journey. You're just trying to get to your own like escape or whatever. And then lastly is that you indulge in self-destructive escapes from fatigue. Abusing alcohol. I know there's no one here, but it could be you could just be kind of watching too much TV, different things like that. So we need to slow down. You and I need to slow down. And there's actually John Orberg, he comes up with this phrase called slowing. And this involves cultivating patience by deliberately choosing to place ourselves in positions where we simply have to wait. Now this could relate to any one of us, but maybe over the next month you have to deliberately drive in the slow lane. It may not be that swerving lane to lane. You're gonna arrive a little bit late, but you're gonna find that you don't get angry as much. Maybe for a week you gotta eat your food slow. Force yourself to chew at least 15 times before each swallow. Or maybe over the next month, when you go to the grocery store, look carefully to see which line is the longest. Get in it and let someone go ahead of you. Go through one day without looking at your phone or without looking at the time. The list can go on, and maybe you have to set up your own list. But we have to find ways to deliberately choose to wait, ways that make hurry impossible. As we practice them, we're basically telling God that we trust Him and that He's able to enable us to accomplish all that needs to get done. Because sometimes we want to be in control, and that's why we run into this whole idea about trying to be in a hurry. And a lot of times, if you really look at what you were in a hurry for, maybe it was even pointless. But to you, it was important. But really, it was you being in control. So be careful. We will discover that we can survive without hurry. If we practice these ways diligently enough, we will become unhurried people. So I just want to encourage you this week. Take some time, go over this list. Maybe there are symptoms in your life. Maybe you're like, no, that's not me. I'm very focused. I'm doing great. Well, hey, that's great. But maybe there's some areas in your life that you're going to really learn about meditation that are going to help you really just reflect, think, get a grip on things in your life. And it's going to show you, as you get closer to God, God shows you areas that, we got to tweak a little bit. And a lot of times we may think like they're not big deals, but when we get into God's presence, when God begins to reveal certain things, they are a big deal. And we got to change them. We got to continue to grow. So I hope you got something out of what we just went over, because I really think it's going to help take your meditation life and your prayer life to a whole other level. It's going to help you to really kind of diagnose yourself on certain areas in your life that maybe you have to change, tweak, make some adjustments in. And that's really what this whole week is all about. You're going to learn a lot from the reading, so make sure you do the reading. It is still connected to your assignment, but deeper than just knowing information, we want to experience transformation within our lives. So I just wanted to give you kind of like some red flags, some signals, stuff that you're not going to read about, but it's really going to really help make a change in your meditation life and in your prayer life. Sometimes we don't think about what we're praying about, or we don't think about what we're meditating about. We just kind of just let everything kind of go on autopilot, and that's kind of just being you're kind of just accepting the habits that you've already become accustomed to. But challenge those habits. Think about those habits. Question your idea of a good prayer life. Sometimes we think we have a good prayer life because we don't have anything to match it to, or we're just measuring one aspect of prayer, saying, well, at least I prayed longer than I did before. But how was the prayer? The first chapter talks about that. To pray is to change. So if you're praying and not changing, are you really praying? So really question your idea of a good meditation life, a good prayer life, and let's make some changes to help us grow and become the people God has called us to be. So looking forward to this week, looking forward to hearing your responses on what you're getting out of it, and keep going.